relentless in spirit. You're listening to The Charlie Kirk Show.
Welcome back to The Charlie Kirk Show. Andrew Kolvet in for the one and only Charlie Kirk, who is on assignment from God. We're going to tell you about WhyRefi. That's YREFY.com. And if I'm thinking about this last couple of weeks and who has really been just tremendous, and just stood by our side, said whatever you need, how can we help? And that would be WhyRefi. WhyRefi, of course, was the sponsor of the Turning Point Tours, the campus tours that Charlie was so proud of. And they are a proud supporter of this show. And, of course, they deal with private student loan debt, which in the U.S. totals about $300 billion. About $45 billion of that is labeled as distressed. So what does WhyRefi do? They refinance distressed or defaulted private student loans that others won't even touch. They provide you with a custom loan amount based on your ability to pay. They're not a debt resettlement company, and they work directly with each borrower, individually tailoring each loan to each borrower's specific situation. You will not be calling a faceless call center. Please check out whyrefi.com or call 888-WhyRefi34, whyrefi.com. More with Steve Deace when we get back. Welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show. Steve, is it Deace or Deace?
The family actually does not know.
Yeah.
So I was told it was Deace. When the family, some of them would say it was Deace. So I just think Deace sounds better.
It's pretty cool.
It does.
It's great.
And plus, I loved Ace Frehley was my favorite Kiss member as a kid. My mom used to put the makeup on me and stuff. And
so you're gonna lose me there. But I watched Happy Gilmore, so it's fine. I know. So I got to tell you. So you're an Iowa guy.
Mm-hmm.
And this story is shocking the country. It's not the most breaking news. Happened a couple days ago, but this Ian Roberts character out of Iowa. So he's an illegal immigrant.
An illegal alien. And he's had a deportation order since last year.
Tell us all about this.
So Ian Roberts.
This is shocking because it's Iowa.
Yeah. And so he's making almost $300K a year as the superintendent of Des Moines schools. And Jackie Norris is and this is what's so weird about Iowa because of the caucuses. We get all
his pictures. There he is.
Yes, we get all these influxes of national influences into our state all the time.
Yeah.
And so Michelle Obama's former chief of staff is the head of the Des Moines school district. And that would not happen in a state of our size in any other state, but because of Iowa, there's just these political headwinds there. All right. And so they hired this guy who's had a deportation order from the. What do you have to do to have a deportation order from the Biden administration, by the way? What do you think you have to do to get one of those?
So didn't he have? He had a weapons charge.
Yes. There's so many things that make this bad. So more stuff is coming out over time. So for example, he originally got a student visa in Maryland. And that expired. Didn't leave, of course.
Or he's registered to vote.
Registered to vote in Maryland.
I can't stand the overstays.
Registered to vote.
The visa overstays drive me absolutely mad.
Certified that he was a citizen to get this job in Iowa, for which he presented apparently a social security card and a form testifying
so
that
identity theft
the right
as
to work.
well.
Yeah.
Or something. He was in possession of a loaded handgun. That's illegal to possess if you're not legally in the country at all. Let's see, what else?
When they busted him, they found a weapon on him.
His voter registration remained active, even though he was moving to other states. But become inactive.
But hold on, Blake and Steve. I was told that illegals don't.
You've
vote.
been reliably informed. This does not happen.
The State Board of Elections in Maryland is obstructing efforts by the Department of Justice to investigate this because of the sanctuary state nonsense.
It's showing how corrupt and ridiculous their system is.
We actually basically have to say blue states, especially, are in a sustained, systematic effort to engage in immigration fraud and engage in voter fraud.
Yes.
And the most rational thing you can do at this point is basically say blue state records are not valid for things.
Well, no,
their driver's license are not valid driver's licenses.
But here's what this is exposing. What you're talking about is that once there is an exposure, the light comes to the darkness. There is an incentive for these blue districts and municipalities, blue states, to then cover it up and not expose it. So not only are you contributing to the problem, you're insisting that it continue.
And I've heard a lot of people say, well, how could this have happened? How did he pass any kind of screening? You have to understand, and this kind of ties in a way with what Pete Hegseth announced this morning, right? We're going to actually do war here now. We're going to have warriors now,
Yes,
and not social engineering. And you have to understand, they did do vetting, and they did do background. It's just there's a, I like to say on my show, Andrew, that worldview is destiny, and no one can rise above their own worldview. They did vetting according to their worldview. They were looking for a DEI candidate. They were looking for someone that would subvert American culture. They were looking for someone that would subvert your children and help them to do a better and more efficient job of turning your children into gay race communists. And that's exactly why they hired him. They did a thorough vetting. They got exactly what they wanted to do. It's just their vetting standard would be different. The worldview that they're operating with is different than ours. So things like, well, are you actually a citizen? That's just a minor technicality, especially because they use the schools, for example, to replace your way of life, to hijack your culture. This is you're watching replacement theory play itself out. They act on their worldview accordingly.
That's a conspiracy.
Except for when it's not and it actually happens.
Yeah, except for when the illegals are in charge of our school districts.
Correct.
So not only do you have woke commies that have insinuated themselves basically complete saturation within our school system.
Yes.
Now you have illegal immigrants that are getting paid.
As the kids say today,
plus.
Andrew, it's not a bug. It's a feature.
It's a feature.
This worked exactly as it was intended to. They just didn't think they would get caught.
1,000%. And here's the question, Steve. Do we abandon the institution and build our own? Or do we try and the long march back through the institutions? What is your prescription?
I think first, what we have to agree to do is that we will wield the power that we actually have. I don't think we've even earned the right to answer that question yet.
That's fair.
I think we have to, and I think like the government shutdown that's happening right now or may occur, are we going to actually use the power that the people elected us and gave us? Because I think we don't decide that, then that other question becomes moot.
Yeah, no, I mean, there was this graph, I actually retweeted it as well, but it was talking about the share of conservatives or registered Republicans at these elite universities.
Right.
And I think at Harvard, it's like, 1%. Mm-hmm. I think the best, surprisingly, was UCLA at like 11%. And the guy who tweeted, he said, if we don't fix this, we can fix nothing. We'll be right back with Steve Deace. Don't go anywhere.